And Poland's response to the Russian flag, thousands and thousands and thousands of red and white Polska scarves held above the heads of everyone who is not in the Russian section. The players now shaking hands, and the atmosphere, Pat Nevin, is something to experience inside this wonderful stadium.
It is fantastic. It's extraordinary. Every single person in here is shouting as loud as they possibly can. Tough one for the referee tonight, I would imagine. The tension that's around this place, and you can't ignore the fact that there's a bit of tension here. However, let's just hope it's a really good game of football. Both teams play their best.
Well, the teams are just posing for their pictures. That enormous flag, that must be a contender for the biggest flag I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen a bigger one than that.
And the reaction from the Polish supporters when they saw it was gasps, really.
And then a lot of whistles as well, whether that was at the national anthem or just at the flag. But before that, the atmosphere was actually quite nice in here, but it turned a wee bit then.
Just to say again, for those who weren't listening earlier, there is a huge wedge in one corner of the stadium from the top to the bottom, which is the Russian section, but there are lots and lots of Polish supporters in that section as well. See a Solskjaer there as well, so there must be at least one Scotsman in there too.
Is that the same one that was at the game I was at the other night?
Entirely possible. It's just on the middle section.
I can see it, yeah.
Well, these are the teams tonight. Poland make two changes. Tytonia, the goalkeeper, comes in for the suspended Szczesny, and Dudka is into the central midfield in place of Rebus, who was the left winger to all intents and purposes. So it does look to me as though it's a move just to tighten things up against the Russians, who are unchanged. The Polish side, Przemysław Tytonia, the goalkeeper. The back four of Piszczek, Wasilewski, Perkis and Bernish. Midfield of Dudka, Morawski and Polanski, with Blaszczykowski on the right, Braniak on the left, and Lewandowski through the middle. On the Russian side, Malafeyev, again the goalkeeper, Anyukov, Berezutski, it's his 50th cap incidentally, as it is for Wasilewski on the Polish side. So Anyukov, Berezutski, Ignashevich and Zhirkov are the back four. Midfielders, Denisov and Zyryanov, the holding players. Shirokov on the right, Arshavin on the left, but floating all over the place. Zagoev, the player that we mentioned before the game, and Kurzhakov as the central striker. Right, we're ready. Group A, and if Russia win this game tonight against Poland, Russia will go through to the quarterfinals as group winners, and that would mean that they would play their quarterfinal here in Warsaw. Well, Poland and Russia share a border and a history as well, but this is a football match, and Poland get things underway here to an enormous roar in the National Stadium here in Warsaw, where the roof is open tonight. The canopy has been pulled back, so we have the grey skies above Warsaw, above our heads, and a vibrant atmosphere with Russia, where they are clear favourites. Pat Nevin.
They are clear favourites, and you were at the Polish game, the first one, and I think you said, and I felt exactly the same watching on TV, they were very, very good going down the right hand side with the two Dortmund players and also in Lewandowski in centre forward sort of area. Now it's easy enough against the Greeks, it's a wee bit tougher against the Russians, whereas the Russians, I think, all over the park, they just got exactly good quality and class going forward. Interesting topic which we never dealt with earlier on. Kerzakov starts again after his 8 opportunities missed.
But Dick Advocat, the Russian coach, the Dutchman, has obviously decided he doesn't want to change a winning team. Here's Zhirkov on the left for Russia, pulls the ball right across the penalty area. Oh, it rattled around there and was cleared away by Bernish, the left back. I don't think he expected it to come to him, but it did. And after a heavy first touch, was able to recover and clear it out for a throw. Down in front of us, our high position here on the upper tier, watching the Russians, all in red tonight with that diagonal white and blue stripe across their chests and the gold trim, as Blaszczykowski went down near the halfway line and he was caught as Poland tried to break away after Russia lost possession inside the Polish half. And in actual fact, he collided with Denisov, but a free kick's been given by the initial challenge that came in on him.
You can tell me, John, I watched on the TV the way the they were going forward. It was all right hand side. Do Poland actually have a left hand side? Because they so rarely seem to use it because they're so powerful on the right here.
Yeah, don't forget the link on the Polish right. Piszczek, the right back, and Błaszczykowski, the captain, both Borussia Dortmund players, winners of the double in Germany this season, and in the middle their clubmate Lewandowski. But it's Russia coming forward, and the ball played through to Kurzhakov, who is forced out into the full-back position. Plays it back. Zagoev, his first touch. Now Kurzhakov out on the right. He'll cross it into the middle, but it's over everyone, rather nervously headed away by Piszczek, and he's fortunate that the ball has rolled to the white of Poland. All white tonight, the Polish kit, with the red band across the chests, and it's being brought forward by Błaszczykowski. Pulls the pass into the middle. Błaszczykowski wanted it back, made a run through into the penalty area, but it didn't reach him. Now Piszczek on the right hand side, and the Polish supporters doing their level best to get behind their players. The atmosphere in here tonight is really something to behold, and we've got that, as I say, it's a sort of wedge which is mainly the darker red of Russia with a bit of blue and a bit of white in there, but elsewhere around the ground, the other 7/8 of the national stadium, it is the red and white of Poland. Row after row after row of Polish red and white. Here's Piszczek, who gives it away. Almost didn't need to say that because of the groans from those 45,000 people.
Yeah, you can feel it. Keeping a little eye on Arshavin just now. He's taking a knock when he played a through ball just a few moments ago. That'd be a big one if he was forced to go off, but he's trying to run it off. He's trying to hide it at the moment, but he's taking a little bit of a knock.
Poland 0, Russia 0. This is BBC 5 Live at Euro 2012 as I see a helicopter hovering way above the stadium here, and Russia trying to make ground on the right hand side and doing just that. Tackle comes in though to pop it behind for the first corner of the game, and it's a corner to the Russians from the right hand side. Just an important touch from Burnish, the left back, to recover and stab it behind. Yeah,
I've got such quality around there. I mean, we keep on mentioning Zagoev because we're so excited about it. We haven't seen enough of him, but the best that we have seen him, it looks absolutely top drawer. So with him on one side and obviously Arshavin on the other, they are very dangerous going forward.
Arshavin takes it short to Zagoev, gets it back, plays it into the middle. Agnieszewicz was closest to getting a header on it. I think he did, but it was blocked immediately by the defender, and out of play now for a throw-in to Poland in their own left back position. So Poland 0, Russia 0. Coming into this game, the table such as it is now has Russia and the Czech Republic level on 3 points, and Poland and Greece level on 1 point. So as I say, if Russia win this game tonight, they will go through as group winners. But almost regardless of what happens tonight, Pat, for Poland, it'll come down to that game against the Czech Republic. That should be quite a night on Saturday for the co-hosts. Ball on the right-hand side for Poland, and Polanski is bundled over by Zhirkov, and it's a free kick to Poland out on this right-hand side. The chance for a set piece from the right flank.
And an unnecessary free kick there from Zhirkov for me. He took plenty of pace there. He was getting back. There was no great danger. Gives a free kick and a very, very easy edit to put the ball in the box. Poor play by Zhirkov.
It's going to be Obraniak to come and take it from the right-hand side with the left foot. So it'll be an in-swinger. And Malafeyev, the Russian goalkeeper, just organising his defence in front of him. So the free kick, Obraniak waits to take it. Obviously Lewandowski is a threat. Perkis is up as well from the back, the central defender. He had a couple of chances in the opening game, remember, against the Greeks. In it comes from Obraniak. It's a good delivery. It's saved by Malafeyev. Well, one of those men in white got a touch on that from 4 yards out. But it was straight at Malafeyev, the goalkeeper, who was able to make a really important block. Otherwise, Poland would be 1-0 up in this game. And it was Wasilewski, the central defender, who was the man who got the touch on it. Important save, really important save from Malafeyev to keep it at 0-0. But the Poles continue to press, and Lewandowski wins a corner now, a corner to Poland.
A quality ball though. What about the cross in there? Keeper can come for it. Brilliant angle on it, and a lot of pace as well. And that could have been a goal lost out of nothing from a stupid free kick given away by Zhirkov. That'll give the Poles a real lift.
Corner then for Poland from the left towards the near post. It's headed across and it's saved by Malafiev, diving to his left. I'm not sure whether that was going to be on target. It was a glancing header at the near post that took it across the goal, but Malafiev held it securely, and it remains 0-0. Just looking to see who did get the touch. I think it might have been over the head of Vasilevsky.
Yeah, I thought it was Piszczek.
And Piszczek was in there behind him. He was leaning forward and just got a glance. But well blocked anyway by the Russian goalkeeper. Poland 0, Russia 0. Now the ball inside the Polish penalty area, and Kerzhikov sliding in to get a shot that's deflected wide for a corner.
But this time it was going on target for a change from Kerzhikov, so well done him. He actually, a lot of people give him a lot of stick after the game when he had those shots not on target. But his link-up play and his build-up play and his work, away from the actual scoring of goals, was absolutely superb for Russia in the first game.
Yeah, as anyone who's listening to us on 5 Live will know that you're supporting all the non-scoring strikers at the tournament.
Absolutely.
Here's the corner in from the right from Arshavin, which is caught virtually on the goal line by Titonia, the goalkeeper, and what a roar there was for Titonia coming in to start the match. First time he started a game at a tournament, the second choice goalkeeper in the squad coming into the tournament, and now because of Szczesny's suspension, well, he's got the crowd behind him. Of that there is no question.
Yeah, and it was a good catch as well, because it was on the line, it was swerving in towards him, and you know what, that's a good corner as well. Test him out early on. Asked him a question. Fortunately for Poland, he had the correct answer.
Poland 0, Russia 0. I mean, he's no novice, Titonia. He's moved to PSV Eindhoven during the course of this season, where Dick Advocaat will be his coach next season, because Advocaat will move back into club management after these finals. And we just got a little sight of him there on the touchline in his blue blazer, just whirling his arms around, making a couple of points.
You mentioned, in fact, the Polish goalkeeper. They do produce a lot of very good goalkeepers, Poland. Maybe more than any other position they do so. I'm guessing there's a bit of handball played in this country.
Well, I think there is, isn't there? Yeah. But we made the point in the opening game, Pat. Come back to that, because here's Lewandowski now with a chance to run at the Russian defence. Lewandowski does really well there, but then the ball bounces off Polanski and through to goalkeeper Malafiev, and that was something there that ended up as nothing. But in the weeks and the months running up to the tournament, Titonia, there's no way I would imagine that he was expecting to play in this tournament, as the ball is played over the top of Kerzhikov is in an offside position, so it's a free kick to Poland in front of their own penalty area. But don't forget that Fabianski was ruled out with a shoulder injury. He would have been a clear number 2 in this Polish squad. And František Šmuda, the coach, did not call on the services of Artur Boric or Thomas Kuszak. So he's, when you look at it, you might have called him number 5 or 6 choice a few months ago.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be a great thing for a player with no expectation of ever really getting involved, and then you get a little sniff, but you still don't think you're going to get a chance, and then halfway through the first game, suddenly you're number 1. It all depends on you. You've not got any time to worry about it. You just go out and do the job.
Pat Nevin with us, who experienced the European Championship with Scotland. Poland 0, Russia 0 the score. BBC 5 Live here in Warsaw. Flashbulbs going off all around the ground. I think anyone who's in here for this game will not forget it, as the ball is played forward for Poland. Lewandowski controls and shoots, and it flashes over the angle of post and bar. Well, if he'd scored with that, that would have been a wonderful goal. Control on his thigh and a volley.
Certainly the goal of the tournament so far. I don't think that would be any argument. Absolutely brilliant technique there. He knew exactly what he was doing. Russians couldn't get close to him. And it's been a good start for Poland, hasn't it? It's been a great start. They've came close. They've got really tight, and when the Russians have got out in the last third, I don't think the Russians do look actually fearful in any way. They've still got that arrogance about them that they had in the first game, but this looks like it's going to be more of a test.
Yep, Poland 0, Russia 0. If you've just switched on to us on 5 Live, that is Pat Nevin who is with us, just in case you don't recognise the voice. You're the first one to go down with the lurgy. Ball is played through. Kerzhikov now with a chance. Tackle comes in on him. Now, did the defender get the ball? It was Perkis who went in there, and Kerzhikov appeals to the additional assistant behind the line. Well,
I'll tell you what.
Did.
Yeah, it's a great call by the referee there. But what a tough one to make. I think it would have been a tough one at this stage, being the Luzhniki in Moscow, but it's not. They're in Warsaw, but he made the right one, towing the ball there. But he doesn't get that right there. He misses that by half an inch. It's a penalty kick and they're down to 10 men.
Yeah, just to complete the picture tonight, when we've got Poland against Russia, it's a German referee. Wolfgang Stark, it is, the very experienced bank worker who, Pat, you will have seen last month in Bucharest refereeing the Europa League final.
He actually had a good game. He actually had a very good game in that when he allowed it to flow a great deal. And there were a few hefty challenges going in that game, but some of the referees already in this tournament have been a little bit picky for me, giving a yellow cards for one sending off, which was a joke, which we've all seen, but a few sort of ridiculous yellow cards. I'm not taking up anyone's time here because there is a little injury.
Perkis, well, he's got a cut. We can see it on the television screen that we've got in our position here. He's got a little nick on his left knee. I would think he'd be okay to continue, the central defender. But just while we have a little stoppage in play here, it's a first chance in the game with 12 minutes played and the score 0-0. Just to, again, have a look round the stadium here and just see the sight that we've got in front of us.
It is fabulous, John. It's absolutely brilliant. There isn't a seat to be had. And, of course, the person with the most artistic bent around here is mentioning the fact that not only are all the scarves red and white, but the sky is going a nice pink as well just now.
The sun is setting in Poland, and the sky above has turned a beautiful shade of pink. And Perkis, in his red and white, is having his knee bandaged, and Poland playing with 10 men just now. The Russians in red.
He actually got that injury when he made that tackle, that saving tackle, didn't he?
Yeah, rolling the ball around inside the Polish half, but then the ball is passed through straight at Burnage and given away by the Poles, and Russia have it again on the halfway line. Good start by Poland actually in this game. The couple of chances that they've had, the save by Malafiev from Piszczek's header, and then the effort from Lewandowski, and Russia come forward again. It's Dudka actually who's dropped into central defence while Perkis is off the field. He can play there. Here's Arshavin on the right hand side, rolls his foot over the ball, and then it's back to Denisov, the Russian player of the year in the domestic game. While mentioning the domestic game, it's probably worth making the point again, I'm sure you made it on Friday night as well, that in this team there are 7 Zenit St. Petersburg players, and Zenit St. Petersburg the winners of the Russian league title this season. Ball is played through towards Kershakov, but it doesn't reach him. It rolls through to Titonia, the goalkeeper, who picks it up.
We did mention that fact, also the fact that a lot of managers like to get 3 players who play for the same team together. We mentioned the Dortmund, the triumvirate that we've got there, and the Polish team. But how spoiled are you can get 7 players out there that all know each other, work with each other every week. It's a great help for the Russian team.
Yes, I can't help but feel that might well be a help for Arshavin as well. Russia coming forward. Perkis is back on the field. I see him now taking up his position on the left-hand side of the Polish central defence. Poland 0, Russia 0. The highlights on these games will be on BBC One tonight, 11:05. David James, as we've heard, will be among Colin Murray's guests. And then tomorrow, it's Group B, the second matches in Group B. 5 o'clock UK time, Denmark against Portugal. And the big game tomorrow night, 7:45, Holland against Germany. You'll hear those matches on 5 Live because we have commentary from every match, from every ground at Euro 2012 on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra when the games are being played at the same time as they will be the final matches in the group. Poland 0, Russia 0. Here's Zhirkov with it on the left-hand side, the tousle-haired Zhirkov. Infield it goes towards Zirianov, who chips it over the top, but straight through to Titonia, the goalkeeper.
Do you know, Andrew's having one of his Arsenal days at the moment, isn't he, Andrei Arshavin? He's playing against a good player tonight in Piszczek. So, he's up against him 1-on-1 with him, and he's not going to chase him.
Good strong challenge by Denisov. Russia have won it back, but the ball is played just behind Zirianov as he made the run, and it hit his heels, and Poland were able to clear it. Poland 0, Russia 0. Russia come again. It's Zagoev now looking for the run from Zhirkov into the penalty area, but the defender goes down, sprawling Vasilevsky. He knew that Zhirkov was right behind him and he won the free kick.
Yeah, not the best pass through there. I think it was Zhirkov, wasn't it? It tried to play it through. I think he could have got it on the outside of that. Zhirkov could have been at the byline. But, you know, today you're seeing a lot more of Zhirkov going forward. And I think that's a lot to do with the fact that Arshavin's been very quiet so far. So Zhirkov usually, I think, has to add something in this left-hand side.
So Poland 0, Russia 0 inside the National Stadium. And everything, I think, calm in terms of the supporters in the stands. I hope the same applies outside the ground. We have had those reports of disturbances, and it was concerning enough as we walked over the bridge to the ground tonight. Lewandowski for Poland, looking to get it back. He does. Lewandowski slips it through. Chance here, but the offside flag is up. Polanski's put the ball in the net and he's celebrating, but now he sees the arm of Wolfgang Stark in the air and he has to cut short his celebrations. The ball in the Russian net. The goal is ruled out and it remains 0-0.
I think it was very clear. He was a yard off from me. You had to give that one. It wasn't one of those ones where he was close to being led. It was a good yard off, an easy one to give. But once again, when the Poles have looked good, they've looked good on this right hand side. Now, it's not always just up the line. Sometimes in the right inside right sort of area, they look very good in that area. But we know what happened against the Greeks. It looked good for 30 minutes and then it fell away. We need to keep it going against the Russians.
Poland 0, Russia 0. And I know the fan park. We heard Lee James in the fan park, and what a perfect setting that fan park is for Poland against Russia. Here's Arshavin now down the left-hand side. I'll explain why in a moment. Lovely footwork from Arshavin. Poland do well. 3 defenders on him, and it's blocked. And it's played back now towards Denisov. And Denisov swings a pass out towards the right-hand side. Shirokov is there. Shirokov looking for Anyukov. Anyukov now back to Shirokov. Shirokov's cross into the penalty area. Kerzhikov goes for the header. Gets something on it. Not sure whether it came off the defender, Perkis, or the final touch was off Kerzhikov. Referee Stark says off the Russian goal kick.
Clearly the referee Stark says, because his linesman and his assistant additional linesman gave him no help whatsoever. They had a perfect view of it and they got it wrong. Well, they didn't get it wrong, they just bottled it and didn't give it. It was clearly a corner kick. The referee Stark needs a little bit of help there. It wasn't his fault.
Well, I'm going to go back to a theme that I've mentioned whenever we have games with the additional assistant referees. I'm not sure whether the additional assistants, the men behind the lines, are being properly coached in where to look for the action. Remember, it is a relatively new officiating position. And ball's headed through now for Lewandowski. Lewandowski against Ignashevich, and the big Russian number 4 got the important contact on it and put it behind for a corner. I think they've got work to do in terms of that officiating position.
I agree with you, but to be fair, in that situation, the additional assistant was 10 yards through it. He's facing it. The ball was where he was looking. How he couldn't see that is beyond me.
Corner for Poland from the left. It's 0-0 on 5 Live. An out swinger, and it's headed over the top by Vasilevsky for Poland by 6-7 yards or so. Poland 0, Russia 0. And the reason that the fan park is perfectly positioned for this game is that it is surrounding a monument to communism, the Joseph Stalin Palace of Culture and Science, that these days, understandably, is known simply as the Palace of Culture and Science. But it is classic communist architecture. It is, sort of Gotham City style spire building.
It's on the grandstand. I mean, it's actually stunning, really. You have to say it is stunning. There's nothing subtle about it, but you don't forget it once you've seen it.
No, and anyone who's watching there, I'm sure that won't be lost on them that they're in that very position in Defilad Square, which surrounds it. Poland 0, Russia 0. That's about, a mile and a half from where we sit here, over the other side of the Vistula River. Magnificent winding river through the city of Warsaw, as Poland win a free kick in the centre circle for a foul on Lewandowski, who's okay, gets up with his lime green heel boots and looks for the ball, which arrives at his feet now. Strong challenge on him, good challenge though as well by Ignashevich. Comes back to Lewandowski, tried to flick it through, then Zurianov was in there to get a touch, and Russia scramble it clear. Poland now try down the left hand side, Mark Hugh. Burnish, the left back, takes the ball down, crosses into the first defender, and it's out for a throw-in to the Poles near the corner flag.
I feel a wee bit sorry for the left-hand side Poland. They may be great, we just don't know. They never played down the left.
A huge Polska flag hangs above the exit in that corner of the stadium with the white eagle on the red background. Poland take the throw. Burnish now wins another throw-in, almost up level with the edge of the Russian penalty area. Burnish himself is going to take this, which he does. Just a heavy touch from Dudka. Now back in midfield after Perkis returning to the field. Dudka again controls the ball, plays his football in France for Auxerre. Cross towards Lewandowski on the edge of the area, but it bounced awkwardly just in front of him, and that gave the Russians the chance which they took to clear it away. Again, it's on the left-hand side. Obraniak, left-footed cross, headed away on the edge of the box. Polanski was looking forward, and Polanski now does pick up possession 25 yards away from goal. Blaszczykowski, right side of the box, drives it across. Russia scrambling to get it away, which they do. Anyukov just slid in there to get a toe to it and get it away, but well done Poland again.
Yeah, I mean, the instant move and that, I keep on saying the inside right area, you know, it's between the left full back and the left centre back of Russia. That's where they always seem to want to aim, and they've got behind the defence time and again, and it's really good. And that's, since this tournament started, I mean, if I'm playing against Poland, I just make sure I crowd that area.
Long ball forward for the Russians. Seen very little of Arshavin in this game so far. Seen very little of Dzagoev as well. Free kick conceded by Zirianov in the centre circle. His challenge on Polanski, so free kick Poland. And off they go to the left-hand side again, Poland. And back it comes into central defence to Perkis.
One of the players I'm really impressed with so far in the Polish team is the man you just mentioned there, the 7 Polanski. I think he's been really, really special in this game so far. He's not often one of the ones that's mentioned, you know.
Yep. German-based with Mainz, Eugen Polanski. Arshavin now with a chance to thread it through in that way that almost only Arshavin can, but he got it just wrong, and it was blocked on the edge of the area, but there were 2 runners there for him to aim at. Poland get it away. Still 0-0 on 5 line. Poland's latest attack breaks down just inside the Russian half. And there he is, the little general, almost unmistakable, Dick Advocat. Again on the edge of his coaching area. Watching Arshavin now on the left-hand side. Quick feet. Pitta-patta, pitta-patta. Arshavin crosses. Oh, and it's headed wide in the middle by Kerzhakov. He was backpedaling there, and he twisted his neck and headed it 2 yards wide of the far post.
He probably wasn't, you know, but he should have left it. Yeah, he certainly had a player in the back behind him. I think it might have been Shurikov coming in at the back post there, and I think he would have had a clearer, you know, attack on it, and he wasn't going backwards, so he could have got more power on it.
Poland 0, Russia 0 if you've just switched on to us on 5 Live. After the Czech Republic won 2-1 against Greece in our earlier commentary in Wroclaw. So Czech Republic off the mark now after their heavy beating by the Russians on Friday night. And now Lewandowski has fouled again, and the foul count on Poland's number 9 is going up all the time. This time he was just caught by Denisov.
Yeah, they're taking it in tons now, aren't they? The amount of hits you're absolutely spot on he's had, and it came from the first few seconds of the game. They're making sure they follow through him, making sure he knows he's in a game. But I have to say his attitude's been superb so far.
Right, well, they've already created problems, Poland, for Russia, with a set piece from Obraniak. Here it goes again, and the header once more goalwards. This time it definitely was Vasilevsky who headed it goalwards, but it was straight at Malafiev, who was able to catch it in front of his forehead.
There is a weakness there, isn't it? Berezutski and Ignashevich. They don't look as if they're going to be a dominant pairing.
Yep, the 2 CSKA Moscow clubmates in there as Russia come down the left-hand side, and Arshavin was caught there, so it's a free kick on the left-hand side. Arshavin remained on his knees.
Yeah, he started to come out to it a little bit in the last 5 or 10 minutes. He's taken around a couple of players. He's given Blaszczykowski a few.
Yeah, Piszczek just clattered into him really as he made his way past the first 2 Polish players. So Arshavin now with a set piece for Russian on the left-hand side. 26 minutes played, still goalless here in Warsaw. Arshavin will swing this in right-footed. Here it goes towards the penalty spot, and Titonia comes and makes the catch, and another resounding round of applause for for Poland's stand-in goalkeeper. Stand-in goalkeeper, of course, if he puts in a decent performance tonight, does Szczesny come straight back in for the game against the Czechs?
To be fair, that's a big call. We had the discussion, between the two games here about Peter Cech. Do you leave him out for this game? The fact he's looked a little bit shaky, it would be a big call. You know what happens? Usually the number one gets dragged back in again.
Kerzhakov now out on the right-hand side. Kerzhakov's ball in. Arshavin is there, doesn't make contact. Nick flashes across the 6-yard box and out into the right full-back position for Poland. Blaszczykowski is there, and he's tangling with Zagoev.
Now, we're not going to have an argument, John, but who put that ball in there? That boy Kerzhakov again, isn't it? He's not a bad player. I mean, again, it's the players that get a lot of stick if they miss chances, but the space he creates, the movement he has, he's not necessarily an out-and-out number 9 who's there to score goals and nothing else. It's kind of cliche I think we always fall into. Number 9's judged on goals. Actually, he's judged on whether you win the game or not.
Yes, we should point out to listeners exactly why we are talking in this fashion on this particular subject. We will do in a moment. Lewandowski now on the left-hand side for Poland. Crosses right-footed but headed down and away, and Russia clear it into the centre circle. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us. Pat Nevin with me here in Warsaw, in the National Stadium, watching Kerzhakov now on the left wing. Beats one man. Still going Kerzhakov. Shoots for goal but got right underneath that and planted it high over the crossbar. How many opportunities, how many attempts on goal is that now for Kerzhakov tonight? 3?
Well, I've counted 11 in the tournament so far.
So that's 4 in this game then.
Yeah, so and that one was over the bar. He didn't get it down. His link-up play before that was brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic. His pass from the right-hand side a minute before was superb as well. In the end, he's dragging players all over the place. The defenders are having to chase him because he is creating space. And eventually, if Arshavin or any of the other players, particularly Kerzhakov and Zagoev, if they actually get the opportunity to score because he's running into space, that's exactly what Advocat wants.
And we're talking about non-scoring strikers because Pat and I have had a difference of opinion, haven't we? As regards Fernando Torres' 15 minutes, which I think during the commentary I described as a shocker. And
I thought he was very, very good indeed. He missed the chances, but he created the chances. He made more space in that period of time than any other player had in the previous 75 minutes. Now, it is easier to make space, I grant you, nearer the end of a game. But his movement, once again, as it was with Chelsea all season, was fabulous. Yes, when it eventually happens for him, it will happen in big style.
Whereas I felt that he'd regressed rather to the Torres.
I think you got a lot more support in the populace, but I think possibly in the game a lot of us feel that he's absolutely fantastic the way he creates the space.
There's Pat Nevin once again going for the cult following. Here's Ignashevich, who plays it out to the right hand side for Russia. It's 0-0, and now the right back Anyukov, one of those 7 Zenit St. Petersburg players who are in this Russian team. Now Denisov gives it to Arshavin. Oh, that's awful. That's way over hit over the top of Kerzhakov and through for a goal kick. You're going to contradict me, aren't you?
No, he gives that walk, doesn't he, when he does that? Every Arsenal fan knows the walk, don't they?
Yes.
When he makes a mistake and the head down, the shoulders are hunched, and the idea of chasing back after your fullback is not even on the agenda at that point. So
I thought you were going to go for the minority following again there and say, well, just think about what it was he was trying to do.
I'm not being deliberately difficult. It's a very acceptable point, I think, that players who make space and get chances and develop chances, it's actually one of the hardest things to do in the game. And players who are actually very good at it, you have to remember that they won't always score the goals, but if they create space for others.
Now then, Kerzhakov there was caught by Dudka near the halfway line. That was a little hefty from Dudka, and Kerzhakov did not like that. And Wolfgang Stark, I'm pretty sure, saw that, and I'm wondering whether he's actually going to have a little word with Dudka. He might do as he's moving past him at some point.
Reaction from Kerzhakov as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
He needs to be careful, because if you react, you definitely get a card.
And no yellow cards so in the first half hour of this game. So tempers have remained as we would hope they would be for a game like this. Zhirkov on the left-hand side for Russia. It's 0-0 on 5 Live. Now the ball played in by Zagoev over the top of everyone and through for a goal kick. Clean out, actually.
No, they haven't really. They haven't played their best football yet at all. All the little intricate stuff. not dissimilar to the way Spain played, in the final third. Get to those three players, Zagoev, Arshavin and Zhirkov, get the ball, try and play a little 1-2s alongside Kersakov. They haven't done it today, and when they have tried to play those intricate balls, they haven't timed them well, and the overhits now that we're beginning to see shows a little bit of a weakening of the huge confidence that the Russians had.
This is the sound of Euro 2012 on 5 Live. Poland 0, Russia 0. Ignashevich has taken a bang now. I think it might have been Blaszczykowski who caught him near the halfway line. Dick Advocat didn't like it at all. Blaszczykowski did come in with a high foot.
I suspect he will recover.
Just raked his studs down the left side of his leg. 0-0 on 5 Live, and over on Sports Extra right now. It's the opening night of the 2020 cricket for the summer, and there's commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra on your digital radio. Here is Ignashevich, who has, as Pat correctly pointed out, recovered. Zhirkov flips it forward, headed away on the edge of the penalty area by Vasilevsky, and now bouncing out of play for a throw-in to the Russians, midway inside the Polish half. Not too many chances so far. Malatriev in the Russian goal has had a good deal more to do than Titonia in the Polish goal. Here is Denisov now. Igor Denisov plays a pass down the right. That's where Arshavin has popped up for the time being. Arshavin holds off two challenges, plays it square. Now it's with Zagoev, edge of the area. Danger here. Shot is blocked at source by the defender Vasilevsky, right in front of Zagoev. Arshavin receives it again on the right hand side, twisting and turning, and then in comes the challenge on him from Obraniak, and Obraniak plays it back, and Burnish clears high and long, left-footed into the Polish half. Lewandowski battling for the bouncing ball, but coming out against the two Russians, second best, and Russia bring it forward again, shuffled forward by Zirianov. Now forward for Kurzhakov, but out comes Titonia sliding, the goalkeeper all in black to claim the ball.
Tell you what, he just catches the easiest one in the world. He gets a huge round of applause. They're trying to build that boy's confidence, but it was a poor ball through there. It was never on. There was two players on Kersakov. Noticeably, as Arshavin's decided to play on the right hand side, I'm not shocked at that, because I think he had a little look at Piszczek at the start and thought, can I get by him? So I'll move over to the right hand side.
Free kick to Russia, halfway inside their half. He's extremely animated tonight, Dick Advocat.
I think what he would love, if he can get the 3 points tonight, they're through. Yes. They can get a rest. Now, the Russian journalist who was on with us before the start of the programme, he was worrying about how much power there is in the team. If they get a few, possibly a couple of bookings or even the odd injury, that'll really hit them later on in the tournament. So if they could get a game, basically a free game, they can send out the reserve team, I think that would be brilliant for them.
0-0. Polanski to Lewandowski almost wins it back on the halfway line, and now Ignashevich with the ball just inside his own half. Now once again it is Denisov, the Russian number 7, to Zhirkov now, who makes some ground up the left hand side, the former Chelsea man, but then plays it back to Zirianov. Zirianov infield towards Shurakov in a more central position. Not seen too much of the ball, the number 6. And now Denisov again. Denisov, who's put under pressure, and then in comes the challenge, and it's won back by Poland. Played forward to Lewandowski, but he's all on his own, Lewandowski, with 3, almost 4 Russians around him, and he's tackled, and the ball bounces to Arshavin, who holds off Piszczek's challenge on him and plays it forward, and then Poland are able to give it away, which they do. Piszczek given straight away to Zhirkov, and Zhirkov flicks it over the top and is caught there late in, well, certainly on the leg from the challenge, and might have taken a knock in the throat as well, judging by his reaction.
It's just a block there, and to be fair, I don't know if the player can get out of the way anyway. I mean, that's a really tough one for Vasilevsky to get out of the way there. It is a free kick, but for me, nothing more than that.
We're into the last 10 minutes of the first half here in Warsaw. Free kick to the Russians. Out on this left-hand side. Whistles from the home supporters. 55,000 inside the ground. I would say it's probably 45,000 Poland, 10,000 Russia. Arshavin, the Russian captain, will take this free kick. Two-man Polish war. It's from out on the left-hand side, very much at an angle. Lots of movement inside the penalty area. Arshavin waits and waits. Still waits. Now here he comes. Clips it in. Takes a flick. It's into the net. Dzagoev is there. Just a little glance. And the 21-year-old scores his third goal at Euro 2012. And it is the Russians who have struck first against the Poles. Poland 0, Russia 1.
Probably the last place where you expect him to score from a free kick into the area there. The marking wasn't good enough, but I mean, what about his movement? His movement, absolutely fantastic. It's a great ball in there. No one chased him, no one picks him up, and there's nothing the goalkeeper can do there. I just think early on in the game, a very similar opportunity that the Poles had. They didn't take it, and it's going to be a very open game now, and very similar maybe to the previous game for the Poles. They started well, but they started to fade out of it after about half an hour.
Well, a firework was thrown down. You probably heard it explode. The firework was thrown down, which landed behind the byline from the Russian section. It exploded and set off sparks flying everywhere, and a very brave steward has now arrived to pick up another firework which is flashing away. I hope somebody's got a bucket of water to put it straight in.
Can I give you a little bit of inside knowledge? We had one of them at the last game as well, that the Russians, they've obviously brought quite a few of them along. They're actually not dangerous when they're flashing like that, but they do look very dangerous, as if they have another bang in them, but no, it's quite safe.
Excellent firework knowledge, Pat Nevin. You truly are multi-talented. Poland 0, Russia 1. Well, that has very much burst the Polish bubble around the National Stadium, and it is the Russians in their section, the Russians who are in there. Many of them have peeled off their shirts. And you can actually see Russians, well, there's a group of people dressed up as Russian sailors down in the front row in front of where we are. And, well, it's gone down on the battleship Potemkin, that goal. Here is Blaszczykowski for Poland, though, just outside the area. Made it himself, shoots, saved by Malafiev, diving to his left-hand side. Close enough to him, but he was able to block it away and out into the penalty area. And Russia do now clear with, 6 minutes to go to half-time. Long ball belted away downfield by the Russians and through to Titonia at the other end. Nothing he could do about the goal. No. The free kick was brilliantly taken by Arshavin, just put it in the dangerous area, in amongst all of the red-shirted Russians advancing on the goal. And it was young Dzagoev who just got his head to it to send it into the net.
I mean, the different style of goals that he scored now, and the 3 goals that he scored, they've all been very, very different, and it just shows you he's a very rounded player. He hadn't taken a great part in the game before that tonight, but sometimes that's sign of a very good player, not having the greatest game in the world, but when the opportunity comes, he's taking it. But it's a bit of a nightmare for Poland now, because this is what the Russians love. They will sit back now, they will just drop a little bit deeper, and their ability to break at pace is absolutely phenomenal. It is now exactly where Dick Advocaat wants to play this game.
And this after the Russians certainly haven't hit the heights that they reached on Friday night when they beat the Czechs, when you were watching them in Wrocław.
Having said that, it was the Czechs.
Yeah.
And I have to say I wasn't very impressed with them at all. And even in today's game, they were not much more than average, I would suggest.
Well, the Poles, the supporters have raised themselves again, but still the Russians celebrating. There's a huge number of them, shirtless, the Russian supporters, right at the front of their section, waving their flags from the various Russian teams. Zhirkov now with it on the left-hand side. The goal coming in the 37th minute of the game.
They've got that arrogance back, haven't they?
Yep.
The way they're just zipping it around it, very, very confident.
And now a high ball towards Zhirkov, which is missed by Vasilevsky over the top of his head. Arshavin's there to pull it across, but hits Piszczek. And now Poland might be away on the counter-attack. Instead, it's just a ball infield. Oh, and it's given away now. Poland rather fortunate there that it came back to Polanski, who was then fouled, and it's a free kick to the co-hosts halfway inside their own half.
The real strength of the Russians in the first game was that they dropped into those deep areas and tried to get those little, nipping in front of players, nicking the ball and getting away and breaking on the opposition. They were brilliant at it, and they play for that all the time. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 sort of system, which is similar to the way the Spanish teams do, but the Spanish teams, they push high up the park and try and get the ball. The Russians are different. They lie deep and then break when they can get a little interception.
Poland 0, Russia 1, BBC 5 Live. Just while you were talking there, Pat, I don't know whether you noticed another little replay of the Dzagoev goal. I think it might have gone in off his shoulder.
Yeah, quite a common thing. He just gets his body in the way. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Here they go, one of those breaks again.
The Russians it is coming forward, but it's been lost by the defender who slid on it. Kerzhikov plays it infield. Now it's back to Kerzhikov on the right hand side. Danger, Dzagoev in the middle. Important interception from Vasilevsky, who slid it on his backside and stopped it reaching young Dzagoev. Otherwise it might have been 4 goals at Euro 2012 for him.
That's precisely the movement as he's playing just one moment before. They tried to play through, and the Russians tempt them to play through. They get a little bit of a interception there, and then there's 3 players who just bomb forward to help the centre forward. It's very difficult to play against.
1-0 Russia lead. Corner from the right hand side that Arshavin is going to take. Here it is, he drives it high right out to Zhirkov, who volleys it wide by 3 or 4 yards.
That's straight off the training ground, that one. It's about 70 yards, that pass there. They knew they were going to do it. The problem for them was the referee ran right in front of Zhirkov there, so he really didn't have his eye on it at all. Wasn't able to get it on target.
The Polska Rose go up again from the home supporters. In the opening match, remember, Poland were 1-0 up at half time, and the Greeks came back at them in the second half. This time round, it's Poland who are going to have to respond, unless they can get themselves a goal before the break. Less than 2 minutes to go, plus added time of the first half. And they have a free kick here inside Russian territory. Obraniak will take this. They have caused problems with set pieces from Obraniak. Vasilevsky will be the target. Obraniak strikes it, and this time the delivery is nowhere near as good as the first couple of occasions, and it was headed away on the edge of the box by Zyryanov. Out for a throw on the left-hand side. And a throw level with the edge of the penalty area on the left. Dudka now nearer the halfway line, pulls the pass towards Piszczek, and now out towards the right it comes, and Obraniak still on this side but using his left foot gives it away, just passed it straight into the Russian that was closest to him, who was Denisov. And the referee has brought play back as Denisov raced across the halfway line.
Again, it's another one of those interceptions that just about got it. Dzagoev definitely doesn't think it was a foul there. A tough call there. It was a very, very close one, but I think the referee got it right. Yeah. Once again, he's done not bad, has he?
Yeah, he's done well. Just a sliding challenge by Kerzhikov on Polanski. So another free kick, another chance from a similar sort of area. Obraniak, here it goes, and it's headed away by Ignashevich. Polanski after it on the edge of the box, but it was just touched away from him. And now Dzagoev, the goal scorer, in space in the centre circle. Kerzhikov could be an option. Instead he plays it square. Denisov, now to Kerzhikov. Kerzhikov's shot, hits the defender. Kerzhikov gets it back, crosses to the back post, only half headed away, but the official on the far side, the assistant, is flagging for offside, and it's a free kick to the Poles inside their own box.
But they're living the nightmare, aren't they, Poland? It's just falling so perfectly into the Russian style. And by the way, that was a free kick that was a penalty kick, I would say there. I'm convinced it was the other way around. That ball should have been given there. I think the Russians are quite unlucky.
That was given as a Polish free kick.
Yeah, and I think it should have been a penalty. I like to say again though, I think it was a nudge. The referee got that the wrong way around.
Poland 0, Russia 1. I'm sure at half time we will hear exactly what's going on outside the ground in central Warsaw after there were reports of problems. We've obviously come through the centre of Warsaw today. We didn't see any problems, did we, Pat, in terms of trouble, but I think there was an element of it in the air.
Yeah, there was an intimidation you felt, obviously, seeing so many riot police. They're meant to look intimidating, that's the point of them, but
the point was that we did see, I'm assuming they were Russian supporters with balaclavas on, and that also is not a good sign.
Well, you see supporters, I would say, I'm not sure they're supporters, I think they're just trying to
no changes to the personnel. Poland with Tytonia, the goalkeeper. Back four of Piszczek, Wasilewski, Perkis and Burnish. Midfield of Dudka, Murawski and Polanski, with Blaszczykowski on the right, Braniak on the left and Lewandowski through the middle. And Russia's team, Malafeyev, unchanged from the opening match for them. Anyukov, Berezutski, Ignashevich and Zhirkov, Denisov and Zyryanov, then Shirokov, Zagoev and Arshavin, with Kurzhakov through the middle. Poland breaking forward with Polanski. Polanski through to Lewandowski, the angle's tight, goalkeeper comes out, still Lewandowski. And then he stopped it on the goal line, goalkeeper recovered, and Lewandowski just flicked it towards him and he blocked it behind the goalkeeper for a corner.
Should have scored, Graham. He should have scored. He's onside there, and he certainly should have taken the shot first time. Running too far past the goalkeeper there. It's not an easy chance, but certainly should have hit and goal, clipped it over the goalkeeper, and it was up to the goalkeeper to make a good save at that point.
Goalkeeper Malafeyev did spread himself very well.
I agree.
Braniak takes the corner, then in towards the near post, and it's headed up and over by Burnish, the left back. Actually, the defender Berezutski went with him, and the referee Wolfgang Stark says it was the Russian who got the touch on that. So another corner, second consecutive corner, right at the start of the second half for Poland. Braniak takes it, and it's headed over by Perkis, the central defender, from 8 yards in amongst a crowd of players. Just a stun header over the top.
Well, we just said that right at the end of the first half, didn't we? Poland have to come out all guns blazing in the second half, certainly for 10-15 minutes, see if they can get something. And boy, did they come close there. They've had a good few chances in this game, haven't they? They've not been bad at all. But whether they've got the quality to keep on doing that, and whether when they do that and push for us forward, they can cope with the breaks from the Russians, I think that's the big question.
Poland 0, Russia 1. If Russia win this, they will be certain of a place in the quarter-finals, and they will be going through as group winners if they win this game. And for the co-hosts Poland, well, it'll all come down to that final group match against the Czech Republic in Wrocław on Saturday night to decide if the co-hosts will remain in the competition when it reaches the last 8 stage. Poland coming forward. They've made a good start to this second period. Here is Murawski. He has been quiet in the game. Then back towards the centre circle. Dudka is there. He's one of the 2 players who is brought into the starting lineup for this game. Tytonia, the other man, in place of the suspended Szczesny. Now once again Polanski for Poland. Poland in the almost all white kit with the red trim, played forward towards Murawski, but he couldn't reach it, and Russia looked to counter-attack. We'll have to see if those spaces begin to open up for the Russians that Pat talked about at the end of the first period. But Zagoev here apologises to his teammates for passing the ball straight out of play near the halfway line. So he scored again, Zagoev, tonight. I must say, Zagoev has got a lovely line in uncontrolled and unplanned goal celebrations as Lewandowski looks for the pass through to him, which isn't found by Murawski.
I think that's also the case of the way he plays sometimes, because he doesn't do the expected thing, the normal thing. He just a very off the cuff kind of player, and sometimes those players change as they get older, and they do the thing they know works, but you're actually seeing them possibly among the most exciting times in their career when they haven't got all that drummed into them.
I loved his celebration. His second goal the other night, when he was just sort of losing control as much as anything else, and we saw a similar sort of thing here tonight as he wheeled away after the ball glanced in off either the top of his right shoulder or the base of the back of his neck. And as well as scoring the only goal, he's also covered the most grounder here. And here they come again. Kurzhakov tried to feed him in. Zagoev didn't get it quite right, cleared away, and now it's with Zyryanov, who loses out on the edge of the Polish penalty area. Pass towards Lewandowski, won by Berezutski for the Russians, who are in the all red kit with the thin white and blue diagonal stripe across the chests. Zhirkov gets away from his man down the left. Zhirkov pulls it back. He could have presented it to Zagoev there and missed him completely almost. And that means Poland are away on the counter-attack with Braniak, who's over the halfway line. Braniak now towards the right. Lewandowski's not in the penalty area yet. Lewandowski now beginning to move towards the penalty spot. Comes back. for a left-footed ball into the area to Lewandowski. No offside flag. Goalkeeper Malafiev came and got a block on it against the Polish number 9 and cleared it.
How brave was that by Malafiev? He was fantastic there. I think he's blowing hard. He took a little bit of a hit there. Great brave play there. Punches it away, and the game has opened out now. Those spaces have already been delivered onto the pitch, and I think the Russians love that. That's exactly what they want, because they know that Arshavin can make good use of that.
Here he is again, Arshavin now approaching the penalty area, but just runs into a wall of white on the edge of the Polish penalty area, and it's cleared away by Titonia downfield, with Blaszczykowski making the run, and then Lewandowski conceding a throw-in on the far side of the field. You've just switched on to us on 5 Live tonight. Group A this is. Second match is in Group A today. Russia leading by a 0-0, and from the position that they're in at the moment, very strong favourites to go through as group winners into the quarter-finals. And if they win the group, they will be playing that game here in the National Stadium in Warsaw. So we might have another march from the centre of Warsaw. That's something to look forward to from the Russian supporters. Earlier, Czech Republic won 2-1 against Greece in our first commentary game. The highlights of both of these matches are on BBC One at 11:05 tonight. Russia coming forward. Arshavin now between two defenders into the penalty area. Toe poke right across the 6-yard box and out for a throw-in.
Yeah, but they're creating spaces down there, and they're creating great chances there on that left-hand side. And Zhirkov, Arshavin, I think maybe a pass back there, but we've seen it in times on by that Arshavin has that ability to play a kind of straight ball and find the bottom corner, but they are going to get more chances now as the game goes on. It's imperative for the Poles that the next goal that's scored is scored by them.
Big matter of national pride for Poland this game, but don't forget that Poland currently ranked number 62 in the rankings, the lowest ranking of any of the 16 teams here at Euro 2012, and the Russians up at number 13. Ball played through for Kerzhikov. Perkis, struggling, but he just got there. He pulled it out there, Perkis, at the final moment. I thought he wasn't going to make it, and he slid in and made the ball.
You can feel it coming, can't you, though? You can see the chances are just becoming, they are stretching. It's all last-ditch efforts now for the Poles. They need to hold on. They need to get out of the park and create something themselves, because slowly but surely the Russians are taking control again.
It's like watching one of those heavy-duty machines, Perkis there, letting their white tyres find the traction. But now it is Poland coming forward. Lewandowski in the middle, and Lewandowski actually fell over Anyukov in the middle.
Fouled him, actually.
Oh, he fouled Anyukov, that's why. And a free kick's been given by Wolfgang Stark. Free kick to Russia inside their own box.
You can tell by the reaction of Lewandowski. He's not having too many complaints about it. He knows what he's done. But that's what they need. A little bit of break, just if he could have stayed on his feet there. There was no actual need to commit that foul there.
As David Pleat said at half-time, though, Pat, you almost feel that if Lewandowski is not going to score, then who is for Poland?
Yeah, that is a difficulty, without a doubt, because he's so far up. But at some point during the game, they've got a decision to make. Do they accept a 1-0 defeat if there's 10 minutes to go? Because you and I know, have had a look at it now.
Yes.
They can still go through if they get beat 1-0 and don't get beat 4-0 and win the last.
Ball over the top for Zagoev, I think just checked his run. He thought he might have been offside, and as a result, I'm not sure he kept the ball in. He did. Just got there first, the Russian, to stop it from going out for a goal kick and put it out for a throw. Yeah, that's a really significant point, actually, when we talk about Russia, if they win this game, going through as group winners. But what could be really significant for Poland is that if they're going to lose this game, to lose it by as narrow a margin as possible, because it is possible that goal difference in the group could come into this. Russia with it. Ignashevich plays it back towards his goalkeeper, who's had a very good game, actually, Malafiev. It's a little bit of a surprise, wasn't it, that Malafiev was chosen to start the tournament instead of the CSKA Moscow captain Akinfeev. But he's done well in this game, certainly. Now space opening up for Russia. Arshavin approaches the penalty area, and he was trying to slip the ball through when the challenge came in on him from Vasilevsky. He's not cleared it, though. Trouble here. Zhirkov, right-footed cross. Perkis was there for Poland to clear it with his left instep. Poland are dicing here. They really are. And now the ball played over the top. Two defenders go for it at the same time. Burnish hit it straight out towards Zhirkov, who was sliding in and sliced his effort straight up into the air, and it was caught by Titonia.
Yeah, but you can see a bit of tiredness again on that left hand side. They do look very strong and down there when Arshavin gets the ball. He's made a few poor decisions, or he's made the right decisions but not delivered the ball at the right pace, and that's so unlike Arshavin. But once again, you know, you can see it creaking at the back from the Polish defence, but they've no choice. They have to go and take chances.
10 minutes into the second half, Russia still leading by 1-0. That goal, which came 8 minutes before the break from Dzagoev, and the atmosphere ramps up again. I think certainly one of the highlights this evening has been that flag. I'm sure some will see it as the arrogance of the Russian supporters unfurling their huge flag with the Russian warrior on it and the words "This is Russia" inside Poland's national stadium.
In English as well.
Yes.
Oddly.
Yes, very strange. Strange that the Russians should realise that English is the first language of UEFA. Here's Polanski playing it out towards the right-hand side. Poles come forward. Moravsky now to the edge of the box. Blaszczykowski was available on the right, but the shot came in from Piszczek and it hit the first defender. Piszczek again, that's a heavy touch from him. And the Russians are able to play it away towards Arshavin, who chests it down and takes it on and rides the challenge that came in. And Arshavin now approaching the penalty area, and Arshavin squares it, and it doesn't quite reach Dzagoev on the edge of the box. Vasilevsky with a last-ditch interception on the edge of his own penalty area. Otherwise Dzagoev would have been in on goal.
But well played by Arshavin in the build, amazing.
And now the Poles with a chance. Blaszczykowski shoots and scores a brilliant equaliser. Unstoppable into the top corner of the Russian net. The Poles have managed to draw level, and it's 1-1.
What a fantastic goal, what a fantastic break. The Russians went a little bit too far forward and there was that massive gap in the midfield, and instead of the Russians taking advantage of it, it was the Poles. And surprise, came from the right hand side from the Poles there. Superb finish, and we've got a game on now. They needed that goal, they needed it in the first 10 minutes or so of the second half, and they've got it.
Well, what about this for an atmosphere? That's the sound that you get in Warsaw, in the National Stadium, when Poland score against Russia. And what a goal. One of the best goals we've seen at the tournament so far. Blaszczykowski, Jakub Blaszczykowski, scoring it with a searing left foot shot from the edge of the penalty area that arrowed into the top corner of the Russian net. And it's 1-1. And the scenes around the stadium now, in the Polish section, as I say, we've got something like 7/8 of the stadium are occupied by the red and white of Poland. They're still on their feet, waving their scarves above their heads and all of the various pieces of headgear that they've got. They enjoyed that, take it from me. So 1-1, and we have a contest.
Well, we certainly do have now, and of course the Poles will get this huge lift of confidence from that. The fans will get behind them again, it'll be noisy. I think it was a period there where the fans just weren't sure at all. I don't think they really believed that the Poles could do it, but that's given them the lift they needed. And of course, you have to say the Russians, they should have taken some of those chances. They got themselves into great positions, maybe 5 or 6 times in the first 10 minutes there, and didn't get a shot on target.
Lovely move down that right-hand side again that led to the Polish goal. The ball was played in. I think it was Piszczek who played it through to his clubmate Blaszczykowski, who managed to evade the left side, Zhirkov's left side of the Russian defence, just with a burst of pace, and hit that shot. I have to say, I've been slightly disappointed with Blaszczykowski in the tournament, and now we've got a flare-up between Denisov and Lewandowski near the halfway line. Lewandowski just got away from the Russian midfielder, and Denisov just flicked the leg out at him and caught him, and now tempers are beginning to flare here, and they calm again, and the referee, let's see what he does. Let's see if he takes any action against Denisov. We've not seen a yellow card yet in the game.
He must be tempted though, because there was a reaction there. He certainly was fouled there, but there's no excuse for that. If you react, you should get a yellow, but I don't know if he's going to do it. Did he give the first one out?
Just say again, Pat?
Did he give the Denisov the yellow card?
I don't think so.
Lewandowski's getting one.
I think it's just Lewandowski who's receiving it. So first yellow goes to Lewandowski. Poland 1, Russia 1. Well, actually, I think Denisov was shown the yellow.
You kind of have to, because if you react, you will get it. Full stop.
So one apiece. One apiece in yellow cards and one apiece in goals as well. Listen to the noise here. It's coming from, well, just every Polish section that you look around the ground. They're singing, they're putting the scarves up again. What a moment that was. You remember that one from Euro 2012?
No, it's absolutely brilliant, and a great goal as well. And you want to have moments for the home side, you know. And certainly Ukraine have had theirs in the first game. Well, it was Poland. Great moment for them.
Yeah, there's a bit of feeling, without question, between Poland and Russia. And Blaszczykowski also scored the last time the two countries met in a friendly in Moscow in 2007. That's come from Juliet. If you were listening to this the other night, here come Russia once again. Ball from the left-hand side, headed away by Perkis. Got down, and then Vasilevsky completes the clearance. Juliet Farrington, absolutely on fire with the statistics at Euro 2012.
Hugely impressed with that one.
Yeah, here's Denisov. Now flicks the ball over the top into the penalty area, headed away by Vasilevsky on the edge of the box, and then nodded further away. And now Poland look to break once more. Just wonder how much that moment has sapped energy from the Polish players, because it was it was an incredible moment inside the stadium to be part of that. And you almost think that they have to just gather themselves again.
It's worth mentioning, I don't know if it comes across ever, it's so much been happening, it's been going at such a pace, particularly in the second half. By the way, it's a great game. It's a really interesting game, it's an entertaining game, it's a pretty open game as well. And I think very much like, I mean, we've been in championships before where it can be dull, there can be many dull games in the group stages. Tell you what, there haven't been many in this one so far.
Poland 1, Russia 1. And Russia it is now. Carrying the ball forward towards the halfway line, Ignashevich. Now it's on the left-hand side, and Arshavin makes a run down there into the Poland right-back position. And it is hooked away behind for a rather soft corner by Vasilevsky. Corner to Russia from the left. It's their first corner of the second half. And Arshavin will take this, and we've got 5 Russian red shirts inside the Poland 6-yard box. Comes into the near post, goalkeeper comes through, but it's headed away in there. Vasilevsky, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Russia out on the left-hand side.
We do take it for granted a wee bit with Arshavin, but his delivery from free kicks has been brilliant again today, hasn't it? Generally, I think he's had one poor one. The rest of them have asked real questions of the goalkeeper and the defenders.
Yeah, generally not hit the heights of that first game, but whenever Russia have a set piece, it's a potential danger for the Poles. It's 1-1. Zagoev for Russia, Blaszczykowski for Poland. And now it is the Russians coming forward with the right back, Anyukov, whose pass in field was cut out, and Poland again, to the cheers of their supporters, bring it forward, but the ball is played way too far ahead of Lewandowski.
Now, I wasn't going to get excited there, John. It's the left-hand side.
Of course, yes, should have known. And it is the Russians again, up towards Kerzhikov, who tried to flick it on as the run was made by Zagoev.
It's about now you begin to think about Pavlyuchenko. It may well be tempting to bring him on at some point, because there still are gaps there that you think the Russians can actually make good use of. As I say, it's a very open game. It's anyone's game now. I still think Russians are slight favourites because they've just got that bit more quality.
Arshavin now drifts around one man towards the edge of the penalty area, but Piszczek got back there and put in the tackle and took the ball away from the Russian captain. Starts again with Anyukov, the right back, the captain of Zenit St. Petersburg, the Russian league title winners this season that's just ended, this extended Russian season. Now Ziryanov to the edge of the box, Arshavin in business again, pulls it back, tries to go past the second man, but the tackle from Polanski takes it away from Arshavin once again. I'm amused by, I've got a Polish supporter sitting to my right, and he is, I think he's beginning to think that Poland might have a chance of actually winning this game. He's the driver for our TV colleague sitting to our right. And then a shot from Blaszczykowski, which is a complete waste and drifts away over the bar from 35-40 yards. Poland 1, Russia 1 remains the score. We have the highlights on BBC One tonight. If you're listening to us in the car, you'll see them when you get home at 11:05 this evening. And in the remainder of 5 Live Sport this evening, once we've wrapped things up here in Warsaw, we'll be heading to California for 5 Live Golf and our team at the US Open in San Francisco, which begins on Thursday, and lots of commentary on that over the course of the weekend as Rory McIlroy defends his title. Zagoev to the edge of the box, runs into Polish defenders, and now it's lost by Perkis, the central defender. He's out of position. Russia come forward, and Shirokov, who's been really quiet in the game actually, Shirokov, the number 6, was only able to win a corner with his attempted ball into the penalty area.
He is an unusual player, Shirokov. You know, he's got great history behind him. You know, he started, I think, mostly as a defender, centre back, but in actual fact he's a creative midfielder. That's what he's best at. But today he's one of those games where he just hasn't been that involved. Most of the things have come down the left hand side, it has to be said, through Arshavin right enough.
Corner then to Russia from the right hand side this time. It's 1-1, BBC 5 Live here in Warsaw in the National Stadium. Zhirkov plays it in, flicked the head at the near post. It was headed away for Poland. Blaszczykowski then clears it, but the referee has given a free kick. He's brought it back for a free kick to Poland inside their own box. But just over a quarter of the game to play. How are you? How are you seeing it at the moment, Pat?
Well, I was just beginning to think, would a draw kind of suit both in some ways? Maybe yes. However, there doesn't seem any signs from me that either of them are interested in a draw at the moment. You know, both of them seem to be going forward. They want to go for the win, and it's one of those ones where, with the Russians, with the Greeks sitting waiting for them, they must think, well, we'll get 3 points out of that if we need to. This is going to be obviously the toughest game of the section for them. They're playing Poland, and it's basically a home game for Poland. But even so, I think they want to go for it. I think the Russians would love to get that extra goal and get the 3 points and be qualified with no worries at all.
Poland 1, Russia 1. Of course, there is a political edge to this game tonight, and I've just noticed on the screen the camera's picking out the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk celebrating with some gusto the Polish equaliser. Ball is played back towards the centre circle. I did wonder if Vladimir Putin may be appearing in Warsaw tonight, but there's no sign of it. Here's Zagoev now with a chance. Left foot shot. Good save by Tetonia down to his right, fully extended. And then gets up and absolutely hurls the ball away downfield. Almost like a javelin thrower for Lewandowski to chase after, but he's beaten to it. However, second wave of Polish attacks. My friend on my right is urging his team forward. Blaszczykowski back into the centre circle. Now Dudka is able to hold off Kerzhikov, and Poland can start again from inside their own half. But a chance there for Zagoev to put the Russians back in front.
Yep, it was good play again. The link-up play was good. It was a pass through there. The chances are up. They're really enjoyable. You can't call this, it's too tight.
Poland coming down the right once again into the Russian box, back to the near post. Chance for Polanski. He hits the shot. It's blocked at the near post by the goalkeeper, and Russia are able to get it away.
Well, they're going to make a change now, the Russians, and I just get a feeling it was changing. It wasn't working out exactly right the way that Dick Advocaat wanted it, so the man is going to come on just now.
Pavlyuchenko
no
is
surprises.
The man who's called forward, as you predicted, Pat. Oh, the ball is flicked forward by Zagoev. Kerzhikov could be in here. Defender Vasilevsky comes back, and well, he almost lands on Kerzhikov, but there's no free kick. Well, Kerzhikov is complaining, as well he might, but it is the Poles who counter-attack with Blaszczykowski into the penalty area. Oh, he's blazed it away.
I tell you, if it scores there, there's a political incident there if it scores there after that. I mean, it's a big call for the referee. I mean, he's got to do it. If he calls a foul there, it's a free kick, it's a red card, and they're down to 10 men just as Kerzhikov's just about to walk off the park. Polish directors haven't shown us a replay yet, by the way.
No, they haven't. TVP, as the host broadcasters, just holding off on that one for the time being. But Pavlyuchenko is now coming on.
Well, I'm sure they just want to show the substitution actually happening, but if it shows a clear free kick there, then they'll not want to show it, certainly not over the big screens here, and that would infuriate The Russian fans here, and there's plenty of them here waiting for that replay, but they're not getting it.
Poland 1, Russia 1. With 20 minutes to play plus added time. And the first substitution made by Dick Advocat. But Poland coming forward once again. Morawski into the area. It's headed out. Comes out now for Polanski, but he's not able to reach it. Just swept away from him by Zhirkov and out for a throw on the right-hand side. Been quite a night in the Polish capital this evening, this game.
There's 20 minutes to go, John. I do not want this game to finish. Really enjoying it, end to end. They're really committed players. There's a lot of good football as well. It's been a great game of football tonight.
Yeah, real edge to it. Competitive edge, but also the edge that comes when Poland play Russia.
And it does help that you're in a magnificent stadium that's bouncing with everyone desperate to get involved as much as they can.
Throwing for Poland on the right. Comes back to Piszczek. He's on his left foot, angles the ball into the penalty area, headed away on the edge of the box. And Burnish concedes a throw-in for Russia in the Russian right-back position. Obviously the focus will change again back to Ukraine tomorrow. That's where Nicky Campbell is, and you'll hear him in Kiev tomorrow at breakfast from 6 o'clock in the morning. I will be making an appearance myself on the breakfast programme in the morning as we watch Arshavin again coming forward down the left, and the ball is speared in low to the near post, but Titonia was equal to it, dropped on it. Most unfussy performance from Poland's second choice goalkeeper in the squad this evening.
Not put a foot or a hand wrong. I absolutely agree with you there. It's just one of the things I was saying in the first game with the Russians. Arshavin for me made one poor pass in the entire game in the first game. You can't say that tonight, can you? I mean, he's got himself in a good positions, you know, his skills being good, etc. Final ball's been very poor tonight most of the time, unless it's been from a dead ball, then it's been very good.
I don't think you should be appearing on 5 Live Breakfast in the morning, incidentally. I think you should be resting your voice. So it wasn't the game for you tonight, was it?
Trying to shout over 55,000 people, not necessarily.
The most vibrant atmosphere so far at the tournament. Hopefully by the time you do your next game, the voice will have settled down a little bit. Where is that? Where's your next game? Can you remember? It must be the day after tomorrow.
It's Croatia versus Italy.
Right.
Poznan.
Poland coming forward again. Lewandowski goes round Berezutsky, then comes back onto his right foot. 2 poles ahead of him inside the penalty area, but chose to play it behind him. Burnish, the left back, hoists it way over the top of the bar and beyond the goal and out for a goal kick.
And that's why they don't go down the left hand side very often, because the quality just isn't there in comparison.
Polish change. First change they've made. It's Mierzejewski who's coming on. Adrian Mierzejewski. And it's Dudka who he replaces. And Mierzejewski is certainly more attack-minded than Dudka. So he's onto the field. Plays his football in Turkey. Was bought by Trabzonspor for a lot of money for a Polish domestic-based player, as he was here in Warsaw with Polonia. So Mierzejewski is on. 1-1 the score, with just over quarter of an hour to play. Russia with it just inside their own half. Played forward towards Ziriano, but it's won back by Polanski, and Poland come again. And now the ball is played out towards the right-hand side, and the effort comes in. The shot from the right-hand side is dragged well wide actually by the new arrival Mierzejewski, straight into the game and shooting at goal.
Yeah, you can tell he's not lacking in confidence, that boy. I mean, he's a long way out, a very difficult angle, but again it's that right-hand side where they like to get down. Get a little bit more power there, a little bit more directness on that side now. They want the win, don't they? There's no doubt about it.
I think they sense that it is possible, that they could do it here tonight. They're having more of the game at the moment.
Yeah, they're really uplift. I mean, it's the oldest one in the book. You know, you score a goal and you get a lift, you get a lot of confidence in it. You look at the players you're playing against, you sometimes look into the faces and you see that there isn't the same arrogance and certainty that they had before. And that's certainly the case with the Russian team. They don't look as confident going forward, and you wouldn't be absolutely shocked now in the last 10-15 minutes if the Poles got something out of this. Got another goal.
BBC 5 Live, it's 1-1 here in Warsaw. Ball for a free kick, played forward into the penalty area. Russia headed away. Poland have never won a game at a European Championship finals. This is only the second time they've been at the tournament, but yet to win a match. This Russian team, Dick Advokat's Russian team, are currently on a 15-match unbeaten run. But it is finally poised, and there's a yellow card for Dzagoev. Young Dzagoev, the Russian goal scorer, must have said something out of turn.
Well, he did. I thought he was fouled, actually. The referee didn't give it, and he's turned around, obviously, and had a little bit of a go. But I think he had a point there. I think he was fouled. In fact,
well, he was,
the replay, and he definitely was fouled, so the referee got that wrong. But you're not allowed to react the way he reacted.
Yeah, we know that they're clamping down on dissent to referees at this tournament, so it was almost certainly going to be a yellow card. Right, into the last 15 minutes of the 90 on this memorable night. Poland 1, Russia 1 is the score here. And again, the Polish supporters are raising their team and raising their scarves as well. And their team now coming forward with Lewandowski. He's got space in front of him here. Lewandowski shoots straight into the back of Ignashevich. Still Poland possession. A backheel flick. Mierzejewski now on the right, allows the ball to run. Left-footed cross into the penalty area, onto the head of Ignashevich, who heads it away to Obraniak. Obraniak now again finds red shirts in front of him, but sensible play, flicks it out to the space on the left-hand side to Burnish, the Polish left back. Burnish beats a man, shoots goalwards, but high over the top of the crossbar in the general direction of those Russian supporters in their corner, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, he's a big bruiser, isn't he? The left full back, then he gets forward. He's I don't think the most sophisticated footballer you'll ever see, but he's certainly wholehearted, there's no doubt about that. But never likely to danger the goal kick.
I'm not sure Pavlyuchenko has had a touch yet since he came onto the field. He's been up front on his own, ball played towards him there but nowhere near him, and it is the Poles who come again, although it ends up back with Perkis, the central defender, the French-born Polish international Perkis. Now Mierzejewski back to Burnish, who's got to be careful here under pressure from Dzagoev, and he is still trying to play it away, and he's lost out to Dzagoev. The ball runs free, and Burnish trying to recover now, but it's played up, and now here is Pavlyuchenko on the right hand side, left wrist strapped into the edge of the box. Dzagoev tries to feed Pavlyuchenko back in, but it doesn't work, it's intercepted, and then Mierzejewski just hits the ball away downfield.
I think when you look at it in the entirety of the game now, I think it's pretty fair, pretty square. I don't think there's much between the two teams. I think if it ended up a draw, you couldn't say that, you know, even though there was a period of time where Russia did well in the first half, the way that Poles have come back into it and they've been lifted by that goal, I think there's nothing between the teams in this game. Interesting
tactical switch coming up from Dick Advokat, but Lewandowski now loses possession to Denisov. Actually, the ball runs away and Piszczek was very nearly onto it, and Denisov had to slide in and put it out for a throw to Poland on the right, level with the edge of the Russian box. But then the throw is wasted, Zhirkov is fouled, and a free kick is given Russia's way. Yeah, the change is because with Poland and Franciszek Szmuda, their coach, having made a positive move, bringing on Mierzejewski, Dick Advokat is going to bring on Ismailov, who is a forward-thinking player as well. Well, we'll see who he's going to take off. Here he comes then, Ismailov, who was called up to this squad and into the picture for Euro 2012 after 6 years away from the international setup. We saw him this season, didn't we, playing for Sporting Lisbon against Manchester City in the Europa League. And let's see who is going to come up.
It's interesting he's going to take on
Dzagoev.
Because he's been booked possibly. He lost it a little bit there. You know, you can't take a chance at this point in time. He's a young player, and he has put a lot of effort. And as you say, the stats at half time said I think he'd run more than anyone else. But he's a young lad, he's got it in him. But I think that booking there will be a bit of a chance to take. I know Dick Advokat doesn't like that in his place.
So off goes Dzagoev, just watching him there, as is the way, being having his hand slapped in congratulation by the players, the rest of the squad members, all the way down the bench, and then his rather unruly haircut disappears out of sight, and he's back on the bench. So Ismailov was on.
He can be quite happy with his contribution so far to this tournament.
I think so. Well, he's the top scorer at the moment, isn't he, with his 3 goals, 2 against the Greeks, 1 tonight, 2 against the Czechs, 1 tonight. Polanski is down at the moment, incidentally, off the field on the far side, so Poland just playing with 10 men at the moment. 10 minutes to go, 5 Live, here at Euro 2012. Watching Poland 1, Russia 1. Arshavin in a central area, just forward of the centre circle. Arshavin goes on a little run, but loses it. And now Poland could counter-attack here. And counter-attack they do with Blaszczykowski, their goal scorer. And he finds Lewandowski just outside the D. And now Obraniak receives it. And Obraniak shoots straight at Malafiev, and the goalkeeper just drops on it.
But once again, it's full throttle both ways. Great break there. Then I think made all the right decision there. Got the ball on target. Was never really going to give too much trouble to Malafiev. But as soon as the Russians get it, you expect them to break at pace. But they've actually slowed it down, which is very interesting. That's a real change to the way they were playing in the first half.
Do you know, Pat, I just wonder whether Poland, if the opponents were anyone else other than Russia, whether they might now be thinking, well, you know, a draw will do us, we'll take our chance against the Czechs in the final game. But because this is Russia, they really want to win this.
You really want to be a national hero by scoring the winner. That helps as well. And they have put a great effort into this second half. They have been, and it's almost impossible not to. With this backing behind you, with the noise behind you, it's been brilliant for the players. But it's whether they can keep up these last few minutes, 8 or 9 minutes to go.
9 minutes to go. Russia coming forward though. The ball played over the top. Titonia comes and catches it very coolly again. The bouncing ball. Poland are going to make another change, incidentally, and that will be their second substitution. Russia have already made 2. Scores 1-1, and Lewandowski just caught offside, so a Russian free kick. Back up to the 10 men, by the way, although I noticed that Polanski is hobbling, so I'm assuming it's Polanski who's going to be substituted when the change is made. Now Anyukov inside the penalty area on the left-hand side, tried to cross it, it was blocked, and Vasilevsky couldn't stop it from going out for a corner.
Yeah, he's got himself in a great position there, neat little ball. And the thing about Arshavin, he's tried to make the right pass every time, but he's just been a couple of yards off or a foot off, and it's just not like him. It just shows you the dependence the Russians have on him.
Corner is taken short by Arshavin to Zhirkov. Arshavin is still out there in the Polish right back area. Infield it comes to Denisov. Square it goes now, and the new arrival Ishmailov hits the shot. It's blocked. Berezutski's on the right wing at the moment, the central defender.
Boy, he looks out of place.
Hey, doesn't he just? And it's actually been played back to him again. So Berezutski now on the right flank. Ishmailov has gone there across to join him, and Ishmailov looks a good deal more comfortable in that position. Looks to exchange passes with Denisov. Ishmailov's ball forward. Berezutski's still there. Well, a high foot from him. I thought he almost took Perkis' head off. No free kick given, and Poland are able to pick up the loose ball and clear it away downfield.
He's having the David Luiz moment, isn't he? He's just gone all the way up, playing in the right wing for about 2 or 3 minutes. He's coming back now.
Matuszczyk is going to come on. Adam Matuszczyk waiting to come on. Ball crossed for Russia by Zhirkov into the penalty area, but way too close to Titonia, who makes the catch. Just under 7 minutes of play to go. 1-1. Denmark against Portugal tomorrow is our first commentary match from 5 o'clock UK time, and then Holland-Germany will be what you're listening to this time tomorrow, the later game. Should be quite a match, that one, after the Dutch defeat in the opening game. Poland coming forward. Blaszczykowski plays it down the right. Piszczek with the cross, headed away at the near post by Ignashevich, and out for a throw-in to Poland. Now the change will be made, and it is Polanski who is going to hobble off, and he'll be replaced by the Polish number 6, Adam Matuszczyk, making his first appearance of the tournament, having played in Germany in the latter part of this season with Fortuna Düsseldorf on loan in the German second division, mark you, on loan from Cologne. So from the German second division right into the thick of it at Euro 2012. Throw-in is taken for the Poles. Blaszczykowski, Piszczek wanted to play it back to Blaszczykowski, who's claiming he was blocked, and barks at the assistant, who is only a couple of yards away, and he's unhappy about it, Blaszczykowski. and has something to say about it as well. And the referee is just coming across in between Blaszczykowski and Zirianov. Russia continuing in possession and switching the ball to this right-hand side. 5 minutes to go. It's 1-1 in this game. Anyukov. But the ball comes back towards the halfway line to Berezutski. Now once again Ismailov. This is all on the right flank for Russia, inside the Polish half. Arshavin has come across to receive the ball, but just plays it straight into the shins of the new arrival Matuszczyk, who clears it out of play. In fact, the offside flag has come up, so it's a free kick to the Poles halfway inside their own half.
I'm trying to figure out the real reason why the Russians don't look as good this game, particularly in the second half. Part of it, they're playing against the better side, number one, obviously. But I just think there's so much dependence on Andrei Arshavin, and he's not in his best game. And his games are on, he's getting a little bit more frustrated. He's trying to play the difficult pass now, and it's just not happening for him, but he's still capable. It has to be. He's definitely still, and possibly the most likely to create that final chance and get Russia the win, but he is running out of time.
And again, for the closing minutes of this game, the Polish supporters are on their feet and are holding their red and white Polska scarves above their heads, and applause for that magnificent display.
Applauding themselves.
Applauding themselves. Didn't we do well? Ball is played forward from the back by Perkis, but that will roll harmlessly out of play for a throw-in 10 yards inside the Russian half. I mean, the history, if you don't know it, I said this during the opening game, this city that we're sitting in here, the history is just extraordinary. The way that this city was reduced to rubble at the end of the Second World War. I did go to the Museum of the Warsaw Rising since that first match, and if you come to Warsaw, if you're coming for the tournament, or indeed at any time, you really must go there, and it is explained in graphic detail exactly what happened here. And the point is that the Poles feel that the Soviet Union at the time could have done more to help Poland. That is one of the issues that we're talking about, let alone the communist period. It is Poland who are coming forward, and it is played up towards Lewandowski, who's rather fortunate that the ball bounced to him, and now he approaches the penalty area, but strong defending from Ignashevich means that the Russians have nicked it back, and they come forward again from left to right, out towards Zhirkov on the left flank, and then back it comes into the Russian defence. Whistles now, whistles from the hosts' supporters. Denisov slips in the halfway line. That was a little hapless from Igor Denisov in the centre circle, but he managed to recover well. And now Berezutski will play it to the right-hand side, to Arshavin, now moving down the right. Arshavin with his head down. Pavlyuchenko's available on the edge of the box, but Russia just not committing too many forward at this moment. Arshavin crosses into the first defender yet again. Bounces back to him. Those are Polish voices you can hear behind me. Polska. Again the cry. They're very close to getting a point here against the Russians.
You would now be heartbroken for them, wouldn't you? Because of the effort they've put in, and the fact that they've quietened the Russian fans over there, who have been very quiet in this second half. But also there doesn't look to me like as much belief in the Russian team. And they're turning around, they're asking each other to do the work. The speed of the breaks and attacks are nowhere near what they were in the first game. And you just wonder, if all the Russians' best players aren't playing well, are they good enough?
1-1 the score, and we're in the last 2 minutes of the 90 here. And now Anyukov plays it infield to Arshavin, and then it comes back into the centre circle. I just wonder as well, in terms of the mood in the city tonight, whether 1-1 is possibly the best scoreline.
Oh, I think so. By a distance.
And maybe a late goal, whichever way it were to go, may not help matters outside the ground. But the footballers have just got to concentrate on their job inside the stadium here. Lewandowski concedes a foul. Pavlyuchenko plays it to his left to Zhirkov, but it doesn't reach him. And Poland now break away. We're in the last minute here. 45 seconds of the 90 to play. Mierzejewski now approaches the penalty area, gives it to the right. Piszczek is there. Piszczek crosses it over everyone inside the penalty area. Lewandowski just keeps it in play. Lewandowski now in the full-back position. There's only one Polish player inside the box. And now it is rather lazily knocked by Mierzejewski. Back to Błaszczykowski on this left-hand side. Lewandowski now takes a position inside the box. They know they're close now to a point. And then the riot police march into the ground from the corner in front of the Russian supporters.
I suspect they might not move too far away from that corner, Joe.
White helmets, black uniforms. I'm pleased to say that they haven't, it seems to me, got the batons out and the guns that they had outside the ground. We're into the 3 minutes that have been allotted of added time. So 3 minutes to play here.
By the way, the riot police are still coming.
And more riot police appear from the other corner. And still they keep coming. Dozens and dozens of them. As Russia attack with Zhirkov, and Zhirkov pulls it back, but there's no one there in red for Russia. Cleared away for Poland towards the halfway line.
I think we can change that to hundreds as opposed to dozens now.
Yes, now we've got hundreds of them, and they're all taking up position behind the goal to our left, which is the goal that Malafiev and the Russians are defending in this second half, and it is the corner, and they are still coming.
That's extraordinary. That is quite a scene. I see so many. They're 2 to 3 deep all the way along behind the goal now.
It is now a veritable army of riot police who are behind the goal to our left. As Poland come forward with Błaszczykowski, who passes it behind Lewandowski. It's given away. And now Mierzejewski's on his right foot. But Russia have got plenty of people back now, and the pass that he attempted was gobbled up by the couple of ranks of red Russian shirts that there are there. Poland begin again on the halfway line, trying to lift themselves once more. We've already had a minute and a half, so 90 seconds of added time to go. And now finally, all of the riot police who are coming in are in and moving themselves into position. They're 3 deep. 3 deep in that section, in that corner section where the Russian supporters are.
It's an odd thing though, because what are they doing there? Because
I don't think there's any danger of Russian supporters coming onto the pitch.
No, I don't think there's any danger coming onto the pitch. But also, if there's any danger, I think it between the 2 sets of fans. But there ain't any riot police between the 2 sets of fans.
No, not at all, and there's very little segregation inside the ground.
Well, a few more hundred coming in now.
Another battalion has arrived and is now making their way in. And Poland, meanwhile, have got a free kick out on the right-hand side and are actually going to make a change as well. And it's Brožek, who was on loan at Celtic in the second half of the season, but got very little game time. He's going to come on to the field and take the place of Obraniak, who I think we're in agreement has done well tonight. Obraniak, the number 10. So Brožek comes on. So a striker comes on for the final seconds. And he has a decent international record, Brožek. 8 goals in his 34 appearances, now coming on to win his 35th cap. Number 23 in the squad.
But what we need to know is he good in the air.
Obraniak here is complaining to the coach, and he kicks a water bottle, and he's saying, I should be the one who's taking this free kick. It's not. It's Mierzejewski. In it comes, and it's cleared away by Ignashevich.
And he nearly scored. The substitute nearly scored it. He was inches away from it.
Brožek was very close to it. What an interception that was by Ignashevich. Just stuck out a leg and was able to hook it away. So, this momentous game, Poland against Russia, that has been one of the games of the group stage in terms of the build-up, with thousands of Russian supporters marching towards the stadium to see it. In amongst the Polish fans, the riot police in great numbers. We're hoping it's all going to be calm in the city tonight. Russia knew after the Czech victory earlier in the day that if they could win this game tonight, they would have secured their place in the quarterfinals. But the Poles have stopped them doing that. Even though Russia took the lead in the first half through Dzagoev, Poland have got a draw. The final whistle goes, and Błaszczykowski's brilliant equaliser means that it's finished Poland 1, Russia 1, and Poland, the co-hosts, have now drawn both their games 1-1. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and I think they definitely deserved that in the second half. Much more fight about them. Right at the start of the programme, 5 Live got a Russian journalist on, and he asked a question whether this Russian team was fit enough. I know they've changed the league campaign and it's been a long league season for them, and he didn't know if those players were fit enough, and the coach Advocaat hadn't been working them very hard. He was trying to rest them. I think the answer came at the end of that game there. I think 20-25 minutes to go, they ran out of gas completely. I don't think they had enough to go forward and push forward. And if you're going to go to the very end of a tournament like this, you can't run out of gas in the second game, and I think Russia did. Whereas the Poles, they got stronger and stronger. I'm not sure if they got the quality to go to the semi-finals, but they could get out of the group.
Well, before we go back to Mark Chapman, the Polish players now are just breaking away. The Russians have now left the stage, and it's the Polish players who are going round and applauding their supporters. And it is terrific to see the reaction. Some firework goes off somewhere inside the ground. It's a big thank you again. Their next game, Poland, will be in Wrocław. So they've had their two group matches in the National Stadium, but they still have a very live chance, Poland, of getting through to the quarter-finals. A victory against the Czech Republic will be what they want.
And the Russians, all they need is a draw. And a draw against the Greeks, you think that should be certainly within their capabilities. But I think the manager Advocaat would like to have been finished out of here, qualified with no worries, and giving the players a rest. As it is, he can't do that now. It needs to go to well again. And for me, as I said, I'm not sure they all look as if they've got another 90 minutes at a high tempo in them. So that's a real concern for Dick Advocaat going forward. This group is wide open.
Yeah, a draw for Russia against the Greeks would do for them. And if Poland were to beat the Czech Republic in that position,
everyone's got it in their own hands, John. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it is. It should be a great night on Saturday to see what unfolds in Group A. But it's finished here this evening in Warsaw. Poland won, Russia won, and I hope it remains all quiet in the city tonight as well.